Hi, this is Matt with customcargrills.com. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a simple grill template. First, get a few pieces of paper that will cover the grill opening and tape them together. Next, we're going to refine down the shape a little bit. In this case, I'm going to get the widest width and the highest height and draw a rectangle to get the paper down a little smaller. What I intend to do here is eventually cut the paper down in order to be the correct shape so that it would just simply drop into the grill opening. After the paper is cut down to be a manageable size, you can push the paper into the grill opening. This will put creases and folds in key areas that we'll later need to cut. Sometimes corners can be a little tricky, but this is just the first outline and we can refine it later if we have any problems. Now I'm going to trace with a pen the folds and creases that we made in the last step. This will help me to cut out a somewhat accurate template of the grill that we're trying to make. If you're working in a difficult area, or even upside down, and the pen isn't working, I suggest using a space pen. Those write pretty much everywhere. Next, I'm going to cut out our first rough draft template that we made and traced. The initial fit of this looks pretty good, but it doesn't look like I cut enough off on some of the edges and maybe too much in other areas. After making some revisions, I went ahead and made a second template in an effort to refine the shape down a little bit better. Here's how the second template turned out. It's a much better fit, and overall it's going to give us what we're looking for. Now that I have enough material in hand, what I'm going to do is trace the template onto the mesh. Using a basic marker works very well for this step, but one note, if you are using a larger template, you may want to tape down one of the sides so that it doesn't move very much during this step. Now it's time to start cutting our traced template out of the material that we chose for this project. The cut material here can be very sharp. Be extremely cautious while doing this step. I would advise using safety precautions such as leather gloves during the step to help protect yourself. All that I'm doing here is simply cutting along the lines that we drew with a basic pair of tin snips. After finishing this step, let's do a test fit and see how it looks. It seems like we're on the right track, but I'd like to add a rubber trim to this. So I'm going to shave off about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around the perimeter of the grill. Again, be very cautious during this step as there will be several sharp edges. To finish this off, I'm going to use the small neoprene rubber edge trim that we stock with the 1/16 inch opening. To get around some of the corners, what I do is make a small incision and then use a trim miter cutting tool. If you don't have that tool, feel free to just make a small V in the trim and that'll make it go around the corners relatively easy. Now we have the final product and it should slide right in place. And that's how you make a template and cut a grill out from the template. For ideas on how to attach this to the factory grill, feel free to check out some of our other videos. I hope you like what you saw here, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me.